In the bustling city of New York, where skyscrapers kiss the sky and people rush about their daily lives, a storm was brewing unnoticed by most. Down an alley, where shadows often play, a different sort of confrontation was about to commence. Scott Lang, known to the world as Ant-Man, was no stranger to unconventional battles. Equipped with a suit that allowed him to shrink and communicate with ants, he had saved the world more than once. Today, though, he sensed an unusual disturbance, a pattern of chaos spreading across the city that was neither natural nor man-made. His investigations led him straight into this alley. Meanwhile, in the darker parts of the city, Eddie Brock was struggling with his own inner demons, quite literally. As the host for the alien symbiote known as Venom, Eddie constantly battled for control over his own actions. Recently, however, Venom had become more agitated, driven by an inexplicable hunger and a desire to hunt something or someone responsible for the unrest that buzzed through his mind. Fate brought the two parties together on this overcast day, the air thick with tension. The alley was a strange stage for their encounter, where Ant-Man stood his ground, eyes scanning for any sign of the threat he had tracked down. Neither was aware that they sought the same unseen enemy, only feeling the pull towards confrontation as a misunderstanding. When Venom appeared, his presence was formidable. The symbiote's liquid-like body extended and twisted around Eddie, forming sharp, claw-like tendrils that hissed towards Ant-Man. Scott, relying on his swift reflexes, shrank down to the size of an ant. Using his helmet, he commanded a swarm of local ants to form a protective barrier between him and the looming threat. From his diminutive perspective, Scott appealed to Venom's reasonable side, trying to explain that he wasn't responsible for the disturbance. But Venom, driven by partial instincts and partial intelligence, misinterpreted Ant-Man's actions as deceit, his paranoia pushing the narrative of Ant-Man being part of the problem. The chase through the city continued with Ant-Man dodging strikes, using his size-changing abilities creatively. He maneuvered through tricky spaces, both tiny crevices and expansive views from the shoulders of giant ants. They neither realized nor suspected that the true orchestrator of their enmity was a young, rogue tech who was desiring chaos for his online followers. Finally, during a climactic stand in Central Park, Scott managed to outwit Venom long enough to talk sense into Eddie. With his technical acumen and Eddie's acceptance to stay symbiote-free momentarily, they hacked into the tech whiz's online feed, revealing and stopping his treachery. Recognizing each other as allies rather than enemies, Scott and Eddie parted ways, Venom's parting words surprisingly earnest. "Until we meet again, little ant." The city returned to its usual hum, oblivious to the battle fought that day, except for the two erstwhile enemies who now understood the strength in their unexpected alliance.